I think the second time I tried to pull start it, the pull start just stuck off, and I can't get that screw out. I mean, I just actually twisted my steel tool, the T27 Torx head, trying to get that damn thing out of there. So what I did was I had an ongoing project with a kit, so I took the pull start from that kit and stuck it on the saw to fire it up. And we have a running saw here. So I think what I want to do, let's see if it restarts. Get a little bit of oil in there, I think. We'll put a bar and chain on it and see if it actually cuts some wood, because I've never really run one of these much, you know. The ones I had always had a little bit of fuel starvation issues, and this one here I just simply never gave it a chance. So it's going to get a chance. What do you think, guys? Debug one of these? This is that G366, and it's as delivered, no changes other than the pull start. Well, one thing I like right off the bat on these, and that goes along with the whole steel thing, is I like the internal clutch with the external sprocket. It just makes life in the field just a lot easier, you know. So we're just going to put it right back together, pretty much the way it was, you know, and give it a little bit of runtime. The actual fit and finish of the saw is not bad, and the fact that it fired right up after sitting on my garage floor for a while is actually a testament that at least some of the stuff is sorted out pretty well. Now this is old style LGX Oregon chain, so we're not going to get steel RS in this. run. We're going to do some blocking with it a little bit later. But for now, I just wanted to get a sort of a timestamp. Ran out of gas. Now there's a shocker for you. Ran this one out of gas. I still have a little bit in here. I can finish the job with this one. Alright, the wind's pretty bad, so you're not going to hear much of what I said. But that's Bling saw. You can go back and find videos to see how it was put together. And the blue saw is the G366 that came to me with a broken pull start that I had to put a different pull start on there. But what I wanted to show here was, you know, you see all the cookies and all that stuff, but what's that really mean relative to your productivity, you know, on a typical job that a guy like me is going to do, blocking up this stuff right here. So, two things. One is Bling saw is roughly twice as fast. You know, it's obviously quite a bit faster. And the second thing is, in terms of time on the saw, the blue saw ran out of fuel before Bling saw did. So not only did Bling saw cut faster, but it also was more efficient with the fuel, which I'm not sure I understand why. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But it's one of those actions speaks louder than words. Now Bling saw has a whole lot more time on it, so it's well broken in. And the G366 is just beginning to break in, so there's some differences there. But hopefully this is a graphic demonstration of the difference between displacement and, well, the G660 versus the G366. Now here's another point, is there is a weight difference, but it's not as much as you would think. It doesn't feel as much while you're running the saw. Although the G660 is a lot harder to start, at least that one is. Once it's running, it restarts pretty quickly and easily. And I have fun. Not to say the G366 isn't a good saw. It's a great saw. For what it is, it doesn't vibrate that much once it's spun up. And it obviously cuts wood pretty well. We're going to put some time on it. But for the same money, effectively, for me, Bling saw is a lot more fun and a bit more productive. So, of course, I don't do what a lot of people do. This is not typical backyard work. And on smaller wood, it wouldn't matter as much in terms of which one has more displacement and power. But when you're getting into stuff like this, that 660 just definitely pays off. And that's really what I was trying to show. You know, the difference between a 60cc saw and a 90 plus cc saw doing the kind of work that I do. Why it justifies itself to get that kind of horsepower versus a smaller saw. Kind of a graphic demonstration. That's what the end game was. Now, having said all that, Bling saw is sorted out. You know what I'm saying? I've debugged it, and I've got it to the point where it works quite well, as you can see. It has OEM parts on detail things like the controls and stuff like that, the bar studs. A lot of the stuff that had come when it was a kit that was a little bit subpar, I've already updated those things. FarmerTech has updated a lot of that themselves, so I'm not sure how much of that has to be done if you're building a kit saw. They gave me a list, and on that list things like bar studs were included, the decomp was included and stuff like that. I won't know until I actually get a kit in my hands to how much I'd have to change. And the G366 assembled the way it is after it's got a couple of tanks actually runs pretty well. My kit saws, the 361 I guess is what they call it, I had a lot of trouble getting those to run right. There was air leaks in behind the carburetor and some other places, and they had a couple of other little issues I had to sort out. So having one pre-assembled to start with, that is probably a better idea for most people. And as just a general all-around saw, I can tell you right now it works pretty good. I don't see any problem with it. You know, just see how long it lasts. But I guess that's pretty much the same question with all the stuff that comes from over there, is you can get them to run when you tweak them and substitute some parts, but then the question is, how long do they last? And that's something I've been trying to answer over the last couple of years. And while I had some bad luck with some of the aftermarket cylinders that were highly touted, the basic G660 that I got way back in the 2015 range with a few parts subbed turned into a very, very solid saw, you know, for most people, maybe not the professional. And we actually got, with a few additional changes, the 660s to survive in the professional environment as well. So that was a successful venture, starting out with the aftermarket, blending some OEM parts turned into a successful saw. I haven't decided how far I'm going to go with the G366 because as it is, it obviously runs pretty good, you know what I'm saying? And does it really matter? Because is a person in the professional world going to actually purchase that saw? Probably not. So the question is as it comes, is it function as a farm saw? Kind of like a Husqvarna 455 or a Steel, you know, 310, 390 series. Let's see if they last and perform in that class of saw. For the price point, it would still be a good deal. So anyway, I figure this is more of a visual than an educational. So one of those actions speaks louder than words, empirical data and all that stuff. You can just watch for yourself to see which of those saws perform better. A few more things, see if I can get that big saw to fire up now that it's chilled down some. Finish off this job.